Okay, so what do? Most of you already know, if you're on the Konza listserv, I sent an email out a month ago. It says, okay, announcing this. Gave you the web address to sign up to. John has put it on the bottom of the Konza web page. There's a little link down there. All you have to do is click this link and it'll take you directly to the doodle page where to sign up. When you go to that, you get to this doodle page. All you have to do is sign up here, and sometimes the save button doesn't show up because there's so many choices, and you have to scroll all the way over to the right to hit save. Just sign your name and then sign up for what that times that you think you might be available to burn. And you can always go back in and change it. I just prefer you not change it the day of a burn or something. Give some advance notice because I plan on people to sign up. How many's going to be involved? I put these for 3-hour blocks, and I know that's quite a commitment sometimes, but it just doesn't do any good to come out and for like a 2-hour block. Time you get out here, get out the middle of the watershed, it's time to turn around and come back in. And so it does require some kind of time commitment, and generally it's best to have like a half day. These times are just approximate. We don't always start at 9. We start whenever the conditions allow us to start. So these are just approximate times on when you might be available. Up here, I have information about what's going on every day. And this was last year's one. I had 7 people. Don't sign up unless if there's 7 people already signed up without contacting me. And that's just because I don't want more people out here than what I have jobs for. Because it's really tough to have people out here and with nothing for them to do. They're standing around and says, well, what do I do? Because we got 18 people in it. I don't want that kind of a situation. So I only want the number of people that it takes for me to do the job. So if something happens, you say, well, I'd like to, you can always call me and say, I'd like to come out, can we work it out? And something might develop, and I'll let you do it. But here is also where you're going to find daily starting Monday. In fact, I've already put Mondays up here. Monday, no burning. But you go in every day. This will be updated on if we're burning or not. If we are burning, and it's at the time to be at headquarters. So this is where you need to have this bookmark to check out if you signed up for burning. And then I don't have all of. There's so many slots in here, like it says, table is allowed. It's table larger than normal. But I'll put in April stuff later as we get closer to the end of the month. One other thing is that sometimes I still don't have enough people signed up. Back in the old days, we could just walk around Bushnell halls and twist arms, or have professors twist the arms of the grad students and say, you go out and help burn, because what we do not want to do is cancel a burn because we don't have enough people. We have very few days that we can get a burn in. And so when we have a burn day, we have to take advantage of it. We cannot cancel it simply because we don't have enough people. So back in the old days, we used to walk around, and anybody's walking around, we'd grab them and say, you're burning. But nowadays, we have a little more flexibility, and I have a list. If you want to be on this list, you can put your email address onto it. It needs to be legible because I type it into a directory, and then I send it out as a test. If it comes back, bounces back and says you typed in the wrong word, you put in a J, and it should have been an I or something like that. I'm not going to mess with it, trying to figure out what it is. But what I do on that is if we're running short of help, I will send an email out to this general list and say, hey, I need 2 or 3 people. Can you help burn? And the kicker on that is that if you have a job or something, you're really not going to be able to do it. You've got to really have flexibility because there's very little notice. Like I send out a notice at 8 o'clock and say, we're starting to burn at 9, so anybody else that can help. So there's not a lot of advance notice, and so it's not for everybody. And so you don't need to be on it just for the heck of being on it unless you really think you have the flexibility. I think I only sent it out once last year. So it's not a common thing. If you really want to know what's going on burn-wise, you need to be on the Konza listserv stuff. That's where we send out most of the information, like the start of the fire season, the end of the fire season, the summary of what's going on. And if there's any accidents that happen, I send it out on the Konza listserv. It says, hey, wildfire hit and burned up your watershed, just so people know. Okay, we make burn decisions daily. The primary factor that governs these burn decisions is the wind speed and direction. But it's not the only thing. There's other minor factors. It could be a beautiful day, but if it's muddy and snot out there, we can't get out there and get a tractor stuff, or whatever we're going to tractor stuff, get a truck stuff, or have trouble going up and down the hill. So if we have a lot of mud that we frequently have in spring, during the thaws, that we may not burn even though it's a nice day. Burn bans, sometimes the counties put on burn bans. We have watersheds in 2 different counties. So one county may have a burn ban and the other not. It's always good policy for us to try and adhere to a burn ban because it doesn't look good if 2 things happen. One, that we're burning and the rest of the county's under a burn ban, then they say, well, why do they have special privileges? And then if something would happen and get away, then there'd be all kinds of bad publicity. So we try to adhere to a burn ban if the county has put it on. Humidity and cloud cover, they play a factor, but not a big one. It just becomes more dangerous if the humidity's really low. It becomes harder to light a fire if the humidity's real high. We tried that once last year. Humidity was about 99%. Second one to burn. Cloud cover, it's always nice to have higher cloud cover or not much cloud at all so that the smoke will dissipate and head straight to Kansas City. And one of the reasons that we use wind direction is really important for us because we have 177 over here, and when we burn these, does those show up at which watersheds are shaded in? They all look white. Anyway, these are the watersheds we're burning this year. But when we burn these on the east side, we pretty much need an east wind to carry that smoke away. We cannot risk getting smoke on the highway. It's a dangerous situation. People not only can get killed, but you get your tail end suit off. So even there's times in which we've had wind shifts come out of the south, and this is so hilly it starts blowing smoke onto the highway. So we don't like to mess around with different wind speeds other than straight east here on this side. Likewise, on the south end, on south winds. Don't want to mess with getting smoke downhill on the interstate. Other ones, it just kind of depends. Sometimes it's easier to burn some watersheds with a different wind direction than others. And so sometimes it's just a heck of a lot easier to say we'll do it on a day in which we have a south wind instead of a west wind, even though it could be done with a west wind, just because of ease. Okay, so what do you do if you sign up and say you want to burn? Well, you need to check that doodle site first of all. By 7 o'clock normally every day, I have a message on there that says, well, if we will burn and what time we're going to start. Sometimes, not often, but sometimes I have a note that says, I'm putting the decision on hold. And that's because the Weather Service hasn't made up their mind yet on what they think is going to happen for the day. And so we just want to wait a little bit to see if the winds pick up or the winds change directions like they think it might or whatever. So sometimes I put decisions on hold until maybe 11 at the latest. So what you do, you need to go to the web page to find out if we're burning. If for some reason the web page is down, servers are down, I can't enter the data onto the web page for some reason, you can always call headquarters because they'll know whether we're going to have a burn or for people who are in Bushnell, you can find me and ask me, Anyway, and then the most important thing is, by gum, if you signed up and have made the commitment that you're gonna burn, we are counting on you. And so, if you sign up to say you're gonna burn, you better show up. If not, you're gonna be on a list that you don't wanna be on. And I know this is all voluntarism, and I'm not trying to be too of a hog nose on it, but we need 14 to 16 people each time. And if I've got 5 people to sign up that don't show up, then we're gonna, by the time we get out here and know that, we're gonna have to cancel a burn, because I can't do a burn with fewer people than what I'm counting on. So all we ask of you is, if you're gonna make the commitment to want to burn, you got to honor it and show up. The benefits are worth it. So what happens when you do? There's information that says we're going to start a burn, say at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we meet there at headquarters in the fire station. At 10 o'clock, if I say we're going to start at 10, we start at 10. I do not wait for people. I have very low tolerance for waiting. And so at 10 o'clock, or whatever time, I give a short briefing of what we're going to burn. We load up into the vehicles and take off. It's 11 miles from Bushnell to Konza. If you leave Bushnell at 10 minutes to 10, think you're going to get here in time for the briefing, you're not going to make it. And you will be counted as absentee. And so it's better to be a little early than a little late, because we don't wait around here at headquarters. We do a quick briefing and load up and take off. We get out to the site, we divide into 2 teams. Greg takes one team and I take the other. We try and divide the people so that there's an equal balance between really experienced and less experienced people, so that we don't have too many really greenhorns on one team. So we try and divide them up. Greg assigned people to task for his team. I will assign. This is when Jesse was a grad student. This is an old picture. This is Jesse, grad student. This is Brett when he had black hair. This is old picture. This is at least 5, 6 years old. Anyway, we divide into teams, and you will be assigned a job. It is not always possible for people to get here at the time that they're supposed to get here. Like if we're going to start at 10 and you get out of class at 10:20. So what you need to do in an instance like that is notify me that morning and say, hey, I can't be there at 10:20. And I'm very well might say, come out as soon as you can. Or I may say, well, we're only going to do one watershed, we're going to burn it, and then come in and quit. There's no sense you coming out, it's just a waste of time. By the time you get out here, we'll be done, wrapping up. And so, we're not always having all-day burns. Sometimes we do quick burns depending on what the weather does. So notify me if you're not going to be able to start on the right time. When you come out here, you go over to headquarters and call on the radio. We'll cover that when we get over there. Call on the radio and say, okay, where you guys at, and which crew do I join up with, the blue or the red? You got to drive your own vehicle out and find us. Park in the black or out of the way. Do not park in tall, unburned grass. And always leave your keys in the ignition. They're not going to steal your vehicle out of you, I don't think. And, but it sometimes may be necessary for people to move your vehicle. So rather than have your vehicle burn up, it's best just to leave the keys in it. When you come through the bison gate, we will not lock the bison gates, but they will be chained. And that's just so we can get through them faster.